Good morning, everybody. I know I haven't been on here for a minute. I had a few things to do, a few places to go, and quite frankly, I didn't like the content that I was about to spit out, so I didn't do it. You know me, I got to speak from the heart. Can I say this right off the top? Carlisha Hood got a grown man in the house. Carlisha Hood is raising a grown man in Chicago. God bless you to all of the members, the subscribers, the Cyclopses that are in the building. Hey, Earth, Wind, Fire, Spirit, Adi Al-Katani, the Spice Man, Yvonne, Miss Ann, Marielle, Black Panther X, all the folks that come through and hang out. Good morning to you, everybody. Good morning to everybody. Listen, it's hot in this car. Make me turn down this thing. This thing gotta stop. Yeah, don't need none of that. All right. Listen, man. For many of you who don't know the backstory, there's a young lady in the city of Chicago. She's 35 years old. Her name is Carlisha Hood. And Carlisha Hood went to a hot dog stand a few days ago. And her son was in the car. And she went into the hot dog stand, and supposedly a conversation got caught up with a young man. We don't know the background story. We don't know if she knew him before. We don't know if they just met at the time. This conversation led into a very ferocious argument. And the argument was caught, at least a portion of it was caught on social media, where Carlisha Hood and this gentleman in a very serious verbal altercation, and apparently the man got very antsy. He's like, "Listen, man, I don't want to hear anything. Get your food, get your food, get your food." And he said to her, "If you say one more thing to me, if you open your mouth one more time, I'm gonna knock you out." Well, Carlisha Hood had more to say. And true to his word, that little fella, he kind of looked like Cat Williams. Cat Williams on a meal program. That's what he looked like to me. Little brother. He wasn't a very big brother, but he's looking Carlisha Hood right in her eye. And Carlisha Hood doesn't look like a very tall woman, but he looked like Cat Williams, cousin. Feline Williams, but he balled up his fist and he punched Carlisha Williams square in the face. Sister Yvonne, how are you? Good to see you. The Savior, that's what I'm calling you today. Brian Holmes, good to see you this morning. This man, I don't know his name. I didn't get his name. I didn't do that research really. Should have. He balled up his fist and he punched Carlisha hellified in the face. And he didn't stop at one punch. He came and he hit her again. Hit her very hard too. He kind of had a little Floyd Mayweather in him, right? Current Floyd, not early Floyd. That Floyd with the no knockout power, because he hit that woman twice and she didn't knock out. I think that's what the problem was. He was like, "I'm gonna knock you out," and he pulled up that little hand of his and he hit her. And she didn't get knocked out. The second punch didn't knock her out either. I think that's what upset that little fellow. Yeah, he couldn't knock that woman out with his little punch. Anyway, he hit her hard though. Smashed her head up against the glass where they were buying their hot dog. And all of these grown men that were in the camera, grown men, some of them were videotaping it, watching it. They saw her take the first hit and they said, "Oh my gosh," and they ran out the frame. They ran out the camera frame. They didn't grab Cat Williams' little cousin and try to stop him from assaulting a defenseless woman. Carlisha was up in there with a bonnet on and a hood summer dress. You know the ones I'm talking about, those two dresses that go all the way to your ankles, with a bonnet on her head. I don't know what's wrong with these black women coming out. That must be a Chicago thing, but they do it in Toronto too, so I can't say nothing. But he hit Carlisha, boy, and these little pretend men ran out the frame. Oh my gosh, ran out the frame. They didn't run in there and stop Cat Williams' little cousin, because he wasn't a very big guy. He wasn't like a guy that you have to be afraid of. He wasn't brandishing a weapon. He wasn't a tough guy per se. I mean, he thought he was a tough guy to Carlisha, for sure, even though he couldn't knock her out with 2 little punches. And they ran out the frame. So the scene cuts right here, because the next thing we see is the video footage where Carlisha goes to the car. Work with me, camera. Work with me. Cameraman, work with me. Carlisha goes to the car, and in the car is a 14-year-old boy. Nope, that's not what's in the car. In the car is the only grown man on site. And my guy is he's not just a 14-year-old in the car playing, with his Rubik's Cube, or playing video games, or watching IG stories. No. My guy there's a burner in the car. Now this is where the story twists for me. Carlisha went to get a hot dog with her 14-year-old son, who's sitting in the car with a burner on it. That's a gun for folks who don't know those kind of terminology. He's sitting in the car with a gun. She got a little grown man in the car. She's like, listen, this boy's been raised in Chicago. He knows what he's doing. He got it on him. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. He got it on him. Pop Smoke didn't have it on him when they fired on him, though, unfortunately. Poor Pop Smoke. But that little 14-year-old boy, he said, I got it on me. And she came out the car, face all bloody, swole up. And, a 14-year-old now, 14-year-old, how old? A 14-year-old boy is probably in grade 9, sees his mother all bloody. It's like, Mom, what happened? What happened? She comes in the car, says, this man punched me in my face. Normal 14-year-old boy says, I'm going to call the police. Or, I'm going to call Dad. Or, what do you mean, Mom? Let's get out of here right away. Let's take you to the hospital. Not that little 14-year-old boy. That 14-year-old boy said, where's the burner, Mama? That boy took the gun out the car, got out of the car, and said, show me the man who put his hands on my mom, 14 years old. 14 years old. Gun smoke. And Carlisha Hood, very interesting, last name is Hood, but Carlisha Hood pointed to that man, said, this is the man right here. And shots were fired. Multiple gunshots for multiple punches. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, gunshot for a sissy punch to my mama's face. And that man was found dead on arrival. The OA, baby. Listen, Carlisha Hood, people say, oh, Carlisha Hood told her son to shoot that man. Listen to look what else they said. They said Carlisha Hood told the son not just to shoot the man, but to shoot a woman who was with him. But the grown man in her house said, no, I'm not going to shoot a woman, Mom. She had nothing to do with it, Mom. Holsters that bad boy. They wait for the police to come. Now, she got a hood dress on, baby. That's what she was wearing. A hood summer dress. That's what I call that. The hood summer dress. The hood summer dress is the tube dresses. They're tube dresses. They're strapless. They're strapped tube dresses. And what takes place in the hood summer dress is most ladies they don't wear an appropriate strapless bra, so that just the straps of the summer dress are showing. So you're seeing double straps. You got the hood summer dress and the bra strap doubled up. I call that the hood summer dress, right? With the bonnet on. The bonnet made it the hood summer dress, really. The bonnet declared it a hood summer dress because why are you out your house in the bonnet? I'm going to tell all you ladies that. Why are you out your house in a bonnet? Why? Just wait. Just take the thing off. Like, I understand why you're in the house with a bonnet. I don't understand why you're out the house with a bonnet. So the hood summer dress, straps, and the bonnet, hood summer dress. So anyway, I digress, or you digress, to make me have to explain what a hood summer dress is. That was the son called by his mother. Yeah, the son was called by his mother. The son was in the car. Mom called him out, right? Mom didn't come out the car and say, let me handle this, right? Now I know a lot of mothers, I know a lot of women who are packing. They're not going to put their 14-year-old son in a position to shoot a man who just beat them up. Because the gun clearly must have been a registered gun, number one, because for those who don't know the end of this story, Carlisha Hood was, all charges were dropped. So first and foremost, it's a legal gun. Secondly, we know it's not his gun because he's 14 years old. It's a family gun registered to Carlisha Hood. Carlisha Hood must have taken gun training to have that gun. Carlisha Hood could have taken that gun and said, boy, you punch me, bam, bam. Carlisha Hood didn't do that. Carlisha Hood said, son, shoot that man. And that young fella said, I got you, mom. Bam, bam, bam. He understood the assignment. He understood the assignment, trained for the assignment. She got a ninja in her house. She got a warrior in her house. Oh, she got Kung Fu Hood Jr. in the house. Listen, she understood what was going on. Devotion Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Afro-Asiatic, 19. What's going on? I'm glad it was a legal firearm. I'm so glad it was a legal firearm because they've been a whole lot of different trouble. They've been different trouble. Yes, Devotion Scott, I'm thankful I could give you that description. So, the boy does not shoot because the mom is emotional. Of course, you just got punched in the face by Cat Williams's chubby cousin. Of course you're going to be upset about that. She has a right to be upset. A grown man has no business. Like, listen, man, like, even if this guy had a throwback to the 1970s and he thought he was a pimp from Chicago and he gave her one backhand, but this boy was not trying to he wasn't trying to go Dolomite and just give her one. He wasn't doing that. He was intent on hurting this woman seriously. From the video I saw, the people holding the video couldn't even watch the onslaught of punches that he unleashed on Carlisha Hood. It was pretty brutal, to be honest with you. Even though, you know, his fist was equivalent to probably three fingers folded on any normal man. But I digress. So she leaves there, gets the son comes out, son lights him up, doesn't just shoot him once. And listen to me, I'm trying to get into the psyche. I don't know how many of you have been a 14-year-old boy before, but I have. I've never shot anybody. I've been a policeman for almost 2 decades. I've never had to pull the trigger on anybody. This young bull doesn't just pull the trigger one time. I would think that you pull the trigger the first time, bam! Oh my gosh, I just shot somebody. No, that kid didn't do that. That kid said, bam! Bam, bam, bam! I think I got the job done. Shoot her too! Nah, mama, we don't gotta shoot her too. If it wasn't for that 14-year-old boy, not only would Carlisha Hood been beat up pretty badly right now, you know, she's licking her wounds with nobody to cry to. But she might be also, after ordering the boy to shoot the woman, they be in trouble right now. She'd be in jail. If that little boy would have listened to his mother and shot the woman who was with the man, this would be a whole different story. It would be a whole different story, right? He had enough presence of mind to not only brandish a weapon that he was likely never appropriately trained for, because somebody trained that little ninja somewhere. Okay? That little brother was trained by somebody. Somebody trained him. I don't know who trained him. But he had the presence of mind and the calmness of disposition to say, Mom, we're not going to shoot this woman because she's making noise. I'm going to shoot the one that assaulted you and potentially could have killed you with his little girl hands. That's what he did. And then patiently waited for the police to come. Tucked that gun away so Chicago PD wasn't going to shoot him on sight. Right? And allowed them to go through the process. Didn't run his mouth, didn't say nothing. Waited, I'm sure, for appropriate representation. Understanding that he's a minor, not much could happen to him. Just kept his mouth shut and went through the process. Let me read the comments, and then I'm gonna talk about the Chicago PD. Hold on. Times are different these days. Let me see what people are saying here. I saw that. Yes. A young man did what he had to do to protect his mom's. Unfortunate, but he did right. So all charges were dropped. All charges were dropped. Every charge. Not only were all charges dropped, hold on to your hat. Carlisha Hood is suing the Chicago Police Department and the district attorney for false arrest, for emotional damage, of course, that they throw that one in, and for what's it called? Prosecution for. It's not false prosecution, it's false arrest, but she's suing them for illegitimately prosecuting her. She should never have been prosecuted, period, is her position and her lawyer's position. That she never should have even been charged. She was the victim, her son was the victim and the hero, and based on the circumstances and the law of the state of Illinois, whatever those happen to be, she shouldn't have been charged in the first place. Right? You see here. Let me see what else you got going on here. Hold on. Yeah, he did have discernment. Now, news anchor for slander and lie. Yeah, well, yeah, the media made it look terrible, right? Of course. You know, black woman, and they still never use our name. Black woman tells her son to shoot a man at a local Chicago hot dog stand. Film at 11. So, but anyway, let's go on to the Chicago police. So, yeah, so she is prosecuting all of them for, charging her, prosecuting her and her son. I want to say all this too before I talk about the Chicago PD. She has no case. Come on, man. You jumping the gun. You jumping the gun. I'm going to get to that. Whether she has a case or doesn't have a case. Once the text messages are shown, it's over. Yes, I agree with you. They are the victims. Okay. Lin, stay with me. We're going to talk. I want to say all this. This young man, who's 14 years old, he either is in grade 9 or he just graduated from grade 8. He just went to graduation. This young man's thinking about grade 8 grad, or he's thinking about his first year in high school, or he could have finished the first year in high school. I'm not sure exactly where his 14 falls on. But it's fair to say that his mind was not on shooting somebody at a hot dog stand at this time of the year. It's year end. He's thinking about the summer school, whatever. And the pictures of him. He's a good-looking young man, good-looking young kid, too. Doesn't look like no little hood kid. Doesn't look like no little bad kid. Like, when you look at him, he looks like a nice little boy. He's wearing a suit, sitting there, getting his end-of-the-year pictures. Nice little kid. Doesn't look like no kind of kid that you're thinking, oh, yeah, he's probably selling drugs for mom on the corner, too. Doesn't look like one of them kids. Looks like an A student. What he looks like, to me. Looks like a kid. I'd be like, hey, that's a nice kid. You might be able to come to my house, sit down. My daughter, you can't date her though, bro. You're 14 years old. But still, he looks like a nice kid. Let me get on to the Chicago PD after I read from Vonnie Israel. In the video, the son witnessed his mom being violently punched at least 3 times before he pulled the papa out his hoodie pocket, exactly, and first fired on him on the restaurant while the guy was hitting his mom. Well, there you go. There you go. The video that I saw, it looked like she came to the car, told him to get out the car because this guy already hit. But what you're saying, if you saw that, it's even more that he's witnessing a man shooting his mom while he's got, as you called it, the pawpaw, okay? The popper on him, the burner. He's got it on him in the hoodie, right? He's got it in the hoodie. No Skittles this time, baby. He's got it in the hoodie and says, "Oh, you want to punch my mom? Not on my watch. We raising grown men here in Chicago," and lets him have it. Let me talk about the Chicago PD. Chicago PD shows up on the scene. This is Chicago, man. They show up on the scene. What do they see? They see a dead man shot multiple times in a hot dog stand. They see a kid in a hoodie with the smoking pistol, and see a woman in a hood summer dress with a bonnet on her head, with a few bruises on her face. Listen, everybody's going to jail. This is not a scenario where cops are not sitting around trying to figure this thing out on the scene. On the scene, there's a dead guy. Call the coroner. Call the ambulance. Call the fire department. I don't know if you want to call them. Sometimes they do that too. Who shot who? All right, come here. Where's the gun? Secure that. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Good drive. Tow the car to the lot, to the pound, and away you go. Is there an investigation after the fact? Absolutely. Statements are taken. 14-year-old boy, that little soldier, lips are sealed. He ain't saying nothing. What's he gonna say? Lips saying he's trying to kill my mom. I do what I had to do. Lips are sealed. Carlisha Hood, mugshots. Right? And then the investigation goes from there. That's how that works. Now, was it Lin Lin? I agree. I don't think she has a case. I personally don't think she has a case against the Chicago police. If she was held for some ridiculous amount of time, if she was like, if something happened to her in jail, had something happened to her son, if she lost property, if she was roughed up by the police, these are all other mitigating factors that might say, hey, maybe she has a case. But to my understanding, none of that took place. Let me see what the violent man caused his own demise, not the 14-year-old. That's what I think too. Son is a hero, and the vilification of he and his mom is deliberate attempt to cast negativity on a black family. Okay, and I can see that too. But maybe if that was Idaho, maybe if she would have shot a white man, maybe all that would have been the case. But I don't know how much race, I know it's a hard thing to say, I don't know how much race is involved in this, considering the fact she shot a black man, considering the fact, killed a black man, she didn't shoot him, her son did, considering the fact that most of them Chicago police officers are black. Isn't the chief of police black? And they released her pretty quick. All charges dropped. So, police are not to determine who is right. Yeah, that's not their job. Police don't come on the scene and try to figure out if you're right or wrong. In a scenario like that, where there's a dead man. Now, this is the part that I will say. The district attorney should not have even filed charges. The police do their job. You arrest that person, you put everybody in the car, you take them to the station, you video, you start the investigation, you bring in your CSI people, as you guys call it down there, your forensics, you start the investigation. Now the district attorney, that's the lawyer, looking at the evidence, reading the statements, looking at the video, right? Getting all the facts, should never have ever dropped the charge of first-degree murder, first of all, because that don't make no sense. First-degree murder is, I know that boy is he's got the hot dog shop. I'm gonna go to the hot dog shop. I'm gonna pretend like we got in an argument. You're gonna come in and shoot him. That's first-degree murder, premeditated. Second-degree murder is, went to the hot dog shop, saw this guy here talking smack to me. I didn't like how he was talking. I shot him. Second-degree murder. Manslaughter, I was struggling for my life, and he punched me a couple times, and he was walking away, and I took out my gun and I put 2 in his back. Maybe that's manslaughter. But first-degree murder is a ridiculous charge. Off the top, you shouldn't even have charged at the time. You should have waited. You should have reserved. Well, I guess you got to charge her with something before you release her. But you could have always, I guess they start high, they come low. But I just felt that the charge on its face was ridiculous. She should have been charged with second-degree murder, sent on her way. Charge you with second-degree murder, we're going to hold you for bond, we're going to look over the evidence, and send her on her way. But first-degree murder off the top, I don't think so. That, to me, that was a little heavy-handed. She just wants a settlement. I don't blame her. They gave her $3 million. They gave her what? $3 million? I don't know what she's suing for. I think the text message got her charged. I didn't. Now tell me about the text message. I didn't hear about the text message. Tell me about the text message. I don't know. I didn't know nothing about the text message. You do more research than me. Yes, in America, you guys sue for everything. You sue for everything in America. Everything. I'm sorry, I disagree. I'm not quick to scream race. It's about race all the time, in every circumstance, in every scenario. Right? I'm not quick to do that, because when we do that, we're like Chicken Little. We're like the boy that cried wolf. I want to critically analyze the circumstances, the people involved. I want to analyze all those things and see before I say this is about race. Because when I say this is about race, I want everybody to drop what they're doing and say, oh no, again. I don't want to just scream out, it's about race. I remember when I used to pull over certain brothers in certain areas of the city where I lived in. And it's dark, pitch dark, driving up, cars doing something crazy. Pull them over and get to the car, and it's a black guy in the car. Now, for the record, I've never charged a black man in my life. I've never arrested a black man in my life. 14 years in the police force, I let every one of our people go. Black, women, I let them go, every one of them. But as I walked up to the car, I remember this brother specifically. He rolls out the window and goes, "You're pulling me over because I'm black." And he turns, he sees me, and then he pauses. I laugh. He's stuck because he's like, oh. I was like, man, I pulled you over because you were swerving a little bit. You good? Are you drunk? He goes, no, I'm not drunk. I said, okay, well, have a good day. He's like, you gonna let me go? I'm like, yeah, I'll let you go. Oh, and he leaves. It was the funniest thing to me, because he just said it was exculpatory. He's like, you're only pulling me over because I'm black. And I was like, I couldn't see in the car. I didn't know if you're black, white, Asian, from Mars. I did not know. So like I said, I'm not quick to scream the race card, because as one of only 4 police officers who were black in that station, there was a lot of racism going on. A lot. Which is why I never arrested nor charged any black people, because I felt that those good old boys were doing the job to do that. So it was my job to go out there and find some white crime, which I found a lot of. Anyway, I digress into that story. But I'm not quick to call race because it doesn't make sense. First of all, you're in Chicago, you're in an urban population. There's a black man who was killed. There's a black woman and a black boy who were involved. It's a black police force, right? So I'll just go with the jurisprudence. I'll go with the misjustice of the law. I won't go with the agenda of racial bias. Somebody was killed, but somebody was. So right away, there's definitely going to be a seriousness, and I think that when a black person is killed, it should be treated serious. Charges should be definitely considered strongly. I think the wrong charge was applied at the beginning. I think second-degree murder should have been the first charge that was laid down. And then you look at the evidence, and they, to their credit, looked at the evidence and released her. So this was it wasn't a long, drawn-out process. It wasn't a situation where she was sitting behind bars, wasting away, and any common sense individual could have seen that she was a victim. I think justice did its job here, and it's a process that you have to trust. and I think at the end of the day, justice got it right. Now, that's just me though. What we got here? Shalom. The text message has not been proved that there were any. Okay. Oh really? Bond included the trafficking of children, family members, not constitute this matter is racial. This is about race. Her bond was $3 million. Oof. That $3 million bond. That gives you a case right there. That $3 million. But again, but the $3 million bond does give you a case. But again, I will say, a black man was killed in this circumstance. So, if a white person had done this, right, this is the question, and they were not charged at all, and they were released, we'd be pissed. We'd be upset. Right? We would, wouldn't we? I would. Lord have mercy, have I gone past my stop? I don't know. What time is it? I hope I haven't. But I'd be upset. I'd be saying to y'all, what in the heck is going on? How is it possible that this situation took the turn it took? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I want to come back to this. I just want to give you guys a little update. This is the real spiel. This is Del K. Brereton. And I'm really happy that y'all came on here and spent. I'm gonna go do what I got to do. Say in New York City, mentally ill dude. Yeah, the guy who murdered the mentally ill dude on the subway. The guy who choked him out. That's what you're talking about, right? He wasn't arrested for a month. Black guy, similar altercation. However, he defended himself and was immediately taken into custody. Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. I retract my statement. You got a point. Absolutely. You got a good point. This is Del K. Brereton. This is the real spiel. Carlisha Hood, you got a grown man in your house. Part 2 coming up. God bless you. Support the channel. Subscribe. Share. Love to hear your opinions, your voices. Let's see what we got going on here with Carlisha Hood and the rest. All right, we'll talk about you guys later. Bye-bye.